Good evening. The Wayzata Public Schools Board of Education regular meeting for November 14, 2016 will please come to order. And will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, as soon as I can find the sheet. Here we go. Ms. Cohen.
Here.
Ms. Keen.
Here.
Ms. Johansson.
Here.
Mr. Brown.
Here.
Mr. McCullough.
Here.
Ms. Lucky.
Here.
Ms. Pulsine here. And Dr. Anderson.
Here.
Everyone's here.
All right, thank you. Our first order of business tonight is to approve the agenda and consent agenda items. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or a citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed as a consent agenda item and addressed. The consent agenda items are listed in your board materials, and the recommended action is to approve the agenda and consent agenda items. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All right, and could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Ms. Pulsine, yes. Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Ms. Keen.
Yes.
Ms. Cohen.
Yes.
Ms. Johansson.
Yes.
Ms. Lucky.
Yes.
And Mr. McCullough.
Yes. All right, thank you. So for tonight, we're going to move reports from organizations, which is item number 4. For those of you who have an agenda, we're going to move reports from organizations up in front of recognitions to allow Jessica to tell us what's going on at the high school.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Schlunt. I am the student body vice president at the high school, and I'm just here to give a little announcements that are from the high school. So to begin, in student council news, we submitted a video to the NASSP Think a Principal contest to thank Mr. Gangler. The motto, "We are here for you," is highlighted in the video as we thanked him for always being here for us. The video is on the student council YouTube page if anyone would like to view it. We are also working on submitting an application to host the 2018 National Student Council Conference at Wayzata High School, where 800 to 1,000 students attend this conference from all over the U.S., as well as schools from other parts of the country. We're really looking forward to the possibility of hosting this major event, as it is something that we usually attend in different states. Today was the kickoff for our annual Adopt a Family campaign through Interfaith Outreach. We have adopted 40 community members for the holiday and have a goal of raising $3,000 by December 2nd. 130 student council members are all carrying fanny packs right now around with them to collect donations. Many are initiating classroom competitions to raise money, including myself. Hopefully I'll get enough for my classroom. We are lucky to have the support of Wayzata teachers in helping us reach our goal. And on Saturday, December 3rd, we will go shopping for our families, and then we will deliver the gifts on Friday, December 9th. Let me know if you would like to support our efforts. Something I'm personally very excited about is that we're hosting the first annual Ironman volleyball tournament on Monday, November 21st, where 7 teams of senior boys and 1 staff team will compete in the tournament. It's basically the opposite of powder puff, so the senior boys are playing on a volleyball team while being coached by the girls varsity volleyball team. The teams are each being coached, and all proceeds from the tournament will actually go to Adopt a Family, so that is another way we're trying to raise money this year. In fine arts news, the Wayzata High School marching band performed for over 1,000 people last weekend, putting on 2 concerts at Central Middle School. The 235-member marching band performed music from Star Trek and the Beatles, as well as a salute to our military veterans. For the orchestra, over 400 people attended the October 30th Orchestra Boosters Fall Social, which was held in the new Lower Commons, which is super exciting. 4 orchestras performed, and about over $1,000 were raised to support our orchestra program. In theater news, Wayzata High School was proud to present Thoroughly Modern Millie last weekend. It's the 2002 Tony Award-winning musical, and the performances will continue next weekend. Specifically on Thursday, November 17th, is actually the Staff Appreciation Night. If any of you would like to join, it is buy 1 ticket, get 1 free, only at the box office for the staff. In athletics and activities news, boys cross country is proud to say that they are the state champions. Boys soccer won 2nd place in the state tournament, and girls swim and dive won sections. And winter sports just started, and so hopefully that'll be a new season full of accomplishments as well. Is there any questions?
Any questions? Yes.
Question or comment? So thank you so much. The video was fantastic and so fun to watch. And you said it's submitted to something, is that right? And when will you find out anything?
Yes, so it was submitted to the National Association of Secondary Schooling Principals for the Think It Principal contest. So we submitted it about a couple weeks ago, so hopefully in the near future we'll get a response back.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
I'm wondering if you know anything about the upcoming Wayzata Idol competition. Is that for Fund and Need as well?
Yeah, so it is on November 22nd, and I'm actually an MC for that, so I'm super excited about it. It's something that NHS puts on, and yeah, it'll go to Fund and Need,
Oh, great.
the
Thanks.
interview that treat. Yeah.
Any other questions for Jessica? Great. Well, thank you as always for a great, thorough report. It's always great to know what's going on at the high school.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on our agenda, our revised agenda, is recognitions, and we've got several tonight, so Superintendent Anderson, I'll turn it over to you.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome. My name is Chase Anderson. I'm the superintendent for the school district, and it's always my honor at the school board meetings to be able to convene the recognition portion of our program tonight. And we have 4 recognitions this evening, some for staff and some for students and some for entire teams, actually. So we're really happy that you're here tonight and appreciate your attendance in helping us to celebrate these great accomplishments. The first recognition, we typically start off with recognizing those individuals who have announced their retirement from our school district in the past month. And we have one of those tonight. I don't see this person here, but Vicki O'Brien, Kimberly Lane Culinary Express, has announced her retirement after 23 years. And we always know that they're out there watching on live television, so we give them a round of applause. Vicki, thank you for your service to the school district. And next is for our November Employee of the Month. And at this time, I'd like to invite Donna Rail to please come forward. Donna, congratulations. I'd like to start off this recognition by reading this very long list of accolades for our Employee of the Month. So bear with me as I set the tone, and then we'll give Donna an opportunity to share a few things as well. Kimberly Lane Elementary is proud to recognize Donna Rail, our school secretary, as the November Employee of the Month. Donna has worked for 14 years in the district and at Kimberly Lane since 2009. Her dedication to excellence is seen in her professionalism, work ethic, creativity, attention to detail, and positive attitude. Each day, she works tirelessly to help both students and staff be the best that they can be, and helps families with all of their questions. She's a very important person on our staff, significantly contributing to the success of our school in the following ways. During the last year, Donna transitioned 450 students to Meadow Ridge, plus welcomed in 150 students from Greenwood, 90 from Plymouth Creek, 90 from Oakwood, and 60 students new to Wayzata Public Schools. She gave tours to families, answered countless questions, attended play dates, and did it all with a smile. She went above and beyond to make this transition as positive as possible for everyone. Also, over this last year, she has launched multiple new systems for our building: True Time for time cards, Raptor for security, and ePay for online payments for families. She is the go-to person for training staff, substitutes, families, and visitors on these systems. She supports the PTA with their communications and events. This year, in particular, she took a leadership role with its largest fundraiser, the Coyote Dash. With so many new families coming from a variety of buildings, her role as the 411 of Kimberly Lane has been well used, and we are fortunate to have her be the welcoming face of Kimberly Lane. She supports the teaching staff in many ways, communicating about upcoming events, ordering supplies, mentoring new staff, and thinking 3 moves ahead on almost everything to keep the operation of our school as smooth as possible. Donna's attention to detail and creativity when ordering has saved the school thousands of dollars over the years. If there's a promo code out there for free shipping or 30% off, Donna works her magic. Finally, Donna's positivity and kindness make Kimberly Lane a great place to work and a welcoming place for students and their families. She has a big heart. Congratulations, Donna, on receiving this award. Wow, they really like you there.
First of all, I would like to thank my Kimberly Lane family for choosing me as Employee of the Month. It's a great honor. I work with a lot of wonderful people, and everyone works really hard, so to be chosen by them is a true honor for me. I'm proud to work with so many wonderful people, not only at Kimberly Lane, but also throughout the district. When I started working at the Wayzata schools, I started at Wayzata High School, and I thought it would be like a temporary job. I'd worked there for a while. So here I am 14 years later. I've always believed in Wayzata schools. In fact, I'm a Wayzata High School graduate, as are my 3 siblings. The office skills I use on a daily basis were learned in the office education program at Wayzata High School through Mrs. Fossen and Mr. Miggins. I don't know if any of you remember Mrs. Fossen or Mr. Miggins. It's been a while. Whenever our family was choosing housing, a top priority was that it be in the Wayzata schools. Therefore, my 3 adult children, 2 of whom are here tonight, Cindy, Matt, and Nick, are all Wayzata graduates. Matt and Nick also went on to marry Wayzata High School graduates, Amy and Noel. And I currently have 5 grandchildren, Mason, Luke, Tyler, Megan, and Blair, who are attending Wayzata schools. That makes 14 Wayzata students in my immediate family alone. And that's not to mention 10 nieces and nephews, and 1 great niece and 1 great nephew who also graduated from Wayzata High School. Needless to say, I am proud to be a part of the Wayzata schools and to have worked with 5 amazing principals during my tenure at Wayzata schools, as we provide excellence for each and every student. As Kari and I, my current principal, were talking today, we noticed the number 14 kept coming up. 14 years, 14 immediate family members, and November 14th. So I'm thinking 14 might be my next lucky number. Thank you so much.
That's quite a story. That's a true blue Wayzata family there, if I've ever heard of one. Our next recognition for this evening is for our perfect ACT scores, and we have 4 students that we're recognizing tonight. We'd just like to ask them to please come forward and assemble over here. I think we have all or most, I'm hoping. I would just like to share a little bit of information. Each has provided a little bit of information about how they achieved this incredible accomplishment. And I'll just share the following and then read a little bit of a narrative about each of our students that are here tonight. Congratulations to Wayzata High School seniors William Drew, Jeffrey Hu, Christine Liu, and Dhruvi Methi for earning a perfect score on their ACT college entrance exams. The maximum score on the ACT is 36. Of the nearly 2.1 million students from the class of 2016 who took the ACT, only 2,235 earned 36, or less than 1/10% of all test takers. So before you, you're seeing 3 of those 2,235 students, and it's an incredible accomplishment, and we're here tonight to congratulate you and recognize you. Perhaps as I read your name, if you would just step forward so our audience knows who you are, and I'll share the information that I assume you shared with us so that we could read this tonight. First, William Drew said he took 1 ACT test in middle school, but the classes he took at Wayzata High School are what helped the most. Outside of school, he participates in the math, science bowl, speech, and table tennis teams. He is also active in the National Honor Society, volunteers at Maple Grove Hospital, and coaches Junior High Math League. He hasn't decided on a college next year, but plans to study chemistry and neuroscience. William, congratulations. Next, Jeffrey Hu said he took multiple practice ACT tests and that a good night's sleep and a good breakfast the day of the test helped greatly. Outside of school, he participates in debate, plays piano, and volunteers at the Science Museum of Minnesota. He hasn't decided on a college for next year, but knows that he wants to major in economics, followed by law school. Congratulations, Jeffrey. Next, Christine Liu said she prepared by taking an ACT prep course, practice tests, and that her advanced placement courses at Wayzata High School also helped. Outside of school, she participates in Future Problem Solvers, Chinese Club, and Business Professionals of America. She's interested in studying biology and possibly going on to medical school. Christine, congratulations. And finally, Dhruvi Methi said he took several practice tests to prepare for the test, each time gaining a better understanding of areas for improvement. Outside of school, he participates in policy debate, coaching Junior High Math League and First Lego League at East Middle School, DECA, and National Honor Society. His top choice for college is Stanford University to pursue a degree in computer science. Let's give a nice round of applause to him. Now, I always offer the opportunity for you to share a couple words if you'd like, or you can pass if you'd prefer. Pass, I think I hear unanimous on the pass on that. That is just really an incredible accomplishment. Not that you're passing on speaking at the microphone, but your incredible accomplishment on this exam and in all that you do. So congratulations, keep up the great work. We're very proud of you, and now we're going to get a photo of you before you scamper off. Where would you like this, Andrew, right here? And our final recognition for the evening is for our boys cross-country team. And at this time, I'd like to invite Mark Pop to come forward and bring along whoever else you'd like. I know some of your coaches are here, and I think some of your athletes are here. So come on up, and in a moment, I'll turn it over to Coach Pop. And I'll just start by sharing the following. Wayzata High School boys cross-country took first place at the 2016 Minnesota State High School League Class AA cross-country meet on November 5th, 2016 at St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota. And to share a little bit about the team's accomplishments and their hard work, I'm going to turn it over to Coach Pop. Thank you.
Yeah, this is a really special group of guys, as most cross-country teams are, not just ours, but throughout the state. Cross-country is a sport that draws a lot of really good people to it, and I think it makes them into better people as you go. We did have a very successful season. These boys at the varsity rank were undefeated throughout the season. Our JV lost one time to one team from Iowa, who I think stacked it a little bit with some runners who maybe should have been in a different race, but that's okay. We'll take one blemish on our record. But overall, from a competitive standpoint, they've done every single thing a team could possibly do up to this point in the season. And the cool thing for these guys is they get to go on and compete. Nike hosts a regional and national cross-country competition. 22 teams throughout the country qualify for Nike Nationals, and on Sunday, 7 of these runners ran in the Heartland Regional meet and won by a very, very wide margin. They're a top 10 team in the country, no matter who you talk to, and they're hoping to be very successful in a few weeks. I could speak a lot about the hard work and the dedication that it takes to be a good runner, the years of running that it takes to accumulate the fitness that these guys have, their natural ability, their camaraderie, all of those things. I think the thing that stands out most, however, about this particular group of guys is the depth and the selflessness that's a part of our team. I would say right now we probably have 18 to 20 guys on our team who would be a varsity athlete on any other team in the state. And some of them, 6 of them, didn't get to actually run a varsity race this season. We split up our squad a few times to try to get those other guys some reps, but ultimately it comes down to 7 guys at the end of the year. And we had a number of seniors, we had a number of upperclassmen, some younger guys who were happy to take a step back and let their teammates who were slightly better than them be the ones who were successful for the team as a whole. And with this group, the depth that we have is also why we're a successful team. We've had races this season. In cross country, you score 5 runners. We've had races this season where, aside from our number 1, you could literally throw a large blanket over runners 2 through 5 as they cross the line after a 5K. And, you know, there's kids passing out, there's kids puking, there's, you know, it's disgusting at the end of a 5K. And then all of a sudden, here come 4 yellow jerseys across the line together. And, you know, it's definitely a product of their training, but also a product of their friendship and how they're able to motivate each other throughout the season. So I'd just like to introduce these guys, say a little bit about them individually, because we get a lot of recognition as a team, but they also deserve recognition individually. So I'll kind of go down the line here. And as I do, guys, just come up. We'll end up taking a picture up here, so just line up there. I'll start off with the guy who was our number 1 runner all season, Khalid Hussein. Khalid was all-conference, he was all-section, and he was the runner-up in the state meet. He's a very talented runner, and he's a junior this year. Next up, we'll just go next to him, Liban Jama. Liban, also all-conference, also all-state. He was in the top 5 for us the majority of the races this season. Liban is a senior this year. Blake Bisey, we'll go with him next. Blake is one of our depth guys. He's been as high as 4th on our team, no lower than 7th once the races have really started to count. Blake is a junior this year and really pushes well within our pack. Gemenchu Miskele has had an up and down season with some injuries, some illness, things like that, but he typically comes through for us when it matters the most. Gemenchu is a senior this year and has been an awesome part of our team for the last 3 years. Jeremy Gilbertson, another senior. Jeremy's a really good team leader. He's been between 3rd and 6th on our team every single race this season. He was also an all-state runner, as was Gemenchu this fall. Grant Price, a very talented sophomore, all-state runner, all-conference runner. You're noticing a theme here. 6 of our 7 individuals were all-state athletes this year out of 25 in the entire state. So again, that speaks to our depth. But Price had a really nice season for us, as high as our number 2 runner, typically 3rd or 4th. And then Grant Matthews, he is a junior this year, all-conference, all-state, huge member of that pack. And then I'm glad that Andrew came here as well. Andrew is our 8th and 9th, one of our 8th, 9th, or 10th runner consistently throughout the season. He's a sophomore this year. He's one of the ones who was left out of that top 7, just from a competitive standpoint. And he's one of those guys who is just a model teammate. He's, you know, he sees that when somebody's faster than him, they're going to be the ones who run. And Andrew, very selfless. Mitch Tolander, who's not here, very selfless. Dan Erke, Nick Kerbesh, and Josh Halverson, all very key team guys for us who, by themselves, would probably be a top 3 or 4 team in the state, just of JV runners for us, varsity runners for anybody else. And then behind me here, we've got Eric Jan, Kyle Rasmussen, and Brandon Hebink. Eric volunteers his time to help out with this specific group of guys, and then Brandon and Kyle are the JV coaches. How we have our team set up, we have 100 high school boys out for cross country. Kyle and Brandon take 80 of them. So it's a 40-to-1 coach-to-athlete ratio, which is probably a little bit unfair to them, but they do an outstanding job getting those guys ready. And a lot of the guys, all of the guys who are up here at one point were JV runners in that JV training group. And so they're a huge part of why our program is successful for a wide range of students. So these are your state champs.
Well, I'll conclude just by, again, congratulating all of our recognition individuals tonight. Thank you for being here. You're more than welcome to stay. Generally, if you're here for recognitions, once the recognitions are over, people head out to whatever else they may have on their plan for tonight. But thanks again for being here, and have a great evening.
Well, again, congratulations to everybody. This is where I usually poke fun of myself and say I didn't know that when I took the ACT, I didn't know that you could get a score that started with a 3. So congratulations to everybody tonight. Thank you, Superintendent Anderson. Our next item on the agenda tonight is superintendent's reports and recommendations, and I believe we just have finance and business tonight, several items under finance and business. So, Mr. Westrom, I'll turn it over to you.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Anderson. The first item we have tonight is our monthly financial reports, and those financial reports are as of the month of September 2016. Included in your packets is the Student Activity Fund Report, the investment summary, an analysis of the financial reports, a statement of revenues, and a statement of expenditures. The business office has reviewed the items, and nothing unusual is noted. I did want to just point out real quick that the school district's fiscal year ends on June 30th, 2016. So in 2 weeks at your board work session, you'll get the financial results from last year. Most of our financial results came in favorable. In other words, we came in within or slightly below the anticipated budgets, and the district continues to be positioned well. So I would be happy to answer any questions if there are any at this time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Westrom. Are there any questions about the monthly financial reports, comments? All right, thank you.
Okay. Mr.
Next, well, I'll let you continue in the driver's seat.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, members of the board, the next item, and I see that Kristen Towson, our Director of Administrative Services, is in the audience, and you could probably be available for questions if there are any. The next item is a resolution providing for open enrollment non-resident agreement for 2017-2018 school year. According to Minnesota Statute 124D.03 Subdivision 2, a board may, by resolution, limit the enrollment for non-resident pupils in its schools or program according to this section to a number not less than the lesser of 1% of the total enrollment at each grade level in the district. And each of our grade levels, for your information, is 800 to 900 students, so that number would be 8 to 9 individual open enrollment students at a grade level, or the number of district's residents at that grade level enrolled in a non-resident district according to this section. So that would be the number of students who actually choose to open enroll into another district. Our recommendation, due to the robust growth that we've been experiencing in the school district and the capacity of our elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools, would be to close open enrollment at grades 1 through 12, and then in accordance with state law, offer and accept enrollment to kindergarten students with a currently enrolled sibling. And the 2017-18 kindergarten students would be placed at an elementary school that has anticipated capacity. The second priority would be, in accordance with state law, offer and accept enrollment to kindergarten students who have a parent that is currently employed as a staff person in the district. And the 2017-18 kindergarten students will be placed at an elementary school that has anticipated capacity. And then finally, if the required minimum number of open enrolled kindergarten students is not met with siblings and or children of employees, then a lottery will be executed to reach the minimum number to satisfy the 1% of open enrolled students per grade requirement. And just a reminder that this is only at kindergarten. We do have the minimum required number of students who have been granted open enrollment agreements at grades 1 through 12. So the recommended action is before you, and I'll let you read that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Westrom. So the recommended action is to approve the recommendation to close open enrollment for the 2017-2018 school year for grades 1 through 12, and to limit open enrollment for kindergarten to siblings and children of Wayzata School District employees, as presented by Mr. Westrom and detailed in your board packet. Is there a motion?
I'll move while asking to waive the reading, please.
And second.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions for Mr. Westrom on this? Yes, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Westrom, and thank you, Kristen, for being here as well. I just want to confirm, and I know from space-wise that we need to say that all siblings, if accepted for open enrollment, would go to an elementary school with anticipated capacity. But I just want to make sure that we still have the policy in place that if the students are accepted into that school, they can still apply for the inter-district transfer if, in fact, we separate families, so one sibling is going to one school and another sibling is going to the other?
I'm looking at Ms. Tollison, and she says that is correct.
Okay, good, because our commitment is to try to keep families together as much as possible.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Good, thanks.
Thank you,
Any
Chris.
other questions or comments? All right, so we will do, with the resolution, we need a roll call vote, so clerk?
Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Keen?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Ms. Johansson?
Yes.
Ms. Lucky?
Yes.
Ms. Posine, yes. And Mr. McCullough?
Yes. All right, the resolution passes. Mr. Westrom?
Thank you. And our third item is a site lease agreement with option between Wayzata School District and the City of Wayzata. The City of Wayzata will lease a 100-foot by 100-foot area for the public purpose of providing 911 and other telecommunication services within the City of Wayzata. The portion of the property is located near the northeast corner of the campus of Wayzata West Middle School. The lease also provides an access easement to the antenna lease area, and all improvements and maintenance of this area will be at the sole expense of the City of Wayzata. And that's included in Exhibit E of the attached lease agreement. Highlights of the lease include rent at $2,000 per month adjusted on an annual basis by CPI with a minimum of 3% and a maximum of 6%. The lease term is 25 years due to the initial investment that the City of Wayzata will make. The renewal terms are 2 additional 10-year terms, and the cancellation terms would be 30 days prior to the renewal, although unilaterally it could be exercised if it was agreed to by both parties. And the City of Wayzata is anticipated to approve the use and the structures, and it is anticipated that the site work would begin in 2017. So just a reminder that we've been discussing this with our facility committee of the board for over a year. The City of Wayzata has done a fair amount or extensive amount of research, and the public purpose would be providing 911 service to the students and residents of our Wayzata School District as well as surrounding communities. And with that, the recommended action is before you, and I'll let you read that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Westrom. So the recommended action is to approve the site lease agreement with option between the Wayzata School District and the City of Wayzata involving land on the campus of Wayzata West Middle School as presented by Mr. Westrom and detailed in your board packet. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion, questions? Yes, Ms. Polzine?
If I can just make a comment, that in our facilities meetings, we did discuss a very similar agreement as to what we have at Central Middle School, and that any questions or concerns about safety and security of our students and our staff have all been addressed, and we saw no problems at all, so.
Yes, thank you for making those comments. We've vetted this thoroughly and had numerous meetings with Wayzata city staff as well. So we feel very comfortable making this recommendation.
Thank you, Ms. Polzine. Any other questions? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, thank you. The motion passes. And Mr. Westrom, one remaining item.
Yes, the last item is actually for the purpose of reporting students to the Minnesota Department of Education. You're probably aware that we report each student who attends Wayzata School District. We also report how far it is from the school that they attend, and we also report whether they walk or ride a bus. And so for state reporting purposes, we're asking the board to approve the transportation hazardous areas. And the enclosed report details areas the district has identified as hazard areas for the purpose of classifying students living within the respective area in the excess transportation category. Reading this, I should just remind you that a hazard is crossing a major road or trying to cross a intersection without the appropriate crosswalks or stoplights. So that's the hazard in the Wayzata School District. You're probably aware that Highway 55 is considered a hazardous crossing. Certain of our other roads, perhaps County Road 101, County Road 6, other major roads such as that. So in those cases, the board has the ability to transport the students, but we need to simply report them to the state as being transported because they reside within a hazardous area. So with that, the action is before you.
Thank you. So the recommended action is to approve the transportation hazardous areas designation for the Wayzata School District as presented by Mr. Westrom and detailed in your board packet. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Second?
Thank you. Any discussion? I have one question, and you may not know off the top of your head. Have there been changes to these designations, you know, from last year to this year that you're aware of?
The only change that's been made is we have a new elementary school.
Okay.
So you're probably aware that state law requires us to provide transportation if you reside more than 2 miles from a school. And so with Meadow Ridge coming online, we looked at everybody in a circumference or in a radius of 2 miles and then determined what the change would be there. With the attendance boundary changes, there were minimal adjustments made, but for the most part, our classification of hazardous roads or hazardous crossings to a school have remained largely the same.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Westrom.
Yep.
Okay, so the recommended action is before you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, thank you. The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Westrom. So the next items on our agenda are board action or board reports, and I understand, Ms. Keen, do you have an item for us tonight?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to share some information about an upcoming event. It's a forum taking place this Thursday night, November 17th. It's a partnership between the Wayzata Legislative Action Committee, the Robbinsdale Legislative Action Committee, and the Hopkins Legislative Action Committee. And the forum is called The Intersection of Schools and Mental Health Services. Join us as we learn about school-based mental health. The forum will be held at Plymouth Middle School Cafeteria, which is in the Robbinsdale School District at 111 36th Avenue North. If you'd like more information about that, please check on the Wayzata website to get more information. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Keen. Are there any other board reports or board items tonight? Okay. Next on the agenda is audience opportunity to address the board. I have one card filled out, John Awney from Lennar. And so, Mr. Awney, if you'd please step forward to the podium, introduce yourself, and we'll be listening.
Thank you, Mr. McCullough and the rest of the Wayzata School District Board. My name is John Awney, and I am here right now as a representative of Lennar Corporation. And I'd like to speak just real briefly about the boundary adjustment that was made to Meadow Ridge Elementary and how that affects us. We've met multiple times with staff, Mr. Westrom and Ms. Tolfson, and I'd like to thank them for their opportunity to speak and kind of voice our concerns a little bit. And I'm even a little bit more troubled tonight to hear about that our students now cross multiple hazardous conditions, hazardous roadway conditions to get to the school that they are now been changed to. And analyzing the guiding principles as it relates to our community and our future residents, I believe that we haven't addressed that correctly and we've somewhat failed there. And I would here tonight to ask that we reopen those discussions and analyze that. And this isn't the first time this has happened to a Lennar community. We have a number of communities in Wayzata School District, and there's bound to be boundary changes and adjustments that need to be made. We understand that. Mr. Westrom and Ms. Tolfson have explained that in great detail to us. Unfortunately, it seems that it continues to happen in our communities. And this most recent one is, the most troubling, because now our students are going, quite far away. They're passing a number of elementary schools to get to the school that they're going to. And not that it's a matter for the school district, but my corporation has invested quite a bit of money into the district, and specifically into our Ravinia community, over $70 million. And to have it change on us during that process is somewhat frustrating. And the communities that are currently within the Meadow Ridge Elementary District, Meadow Ridge Elementary boundary, the active development communities in that area, Ravinia, Lennar Corporation community, that plat was approved in November of 2014. The other current active communities today, Enclave on the Greenway, plat was approved in March of 15. Maple Creek was approved in August of 15. The Pines was approved in November of 15. And there are 4 or 5 other communities out there that are in development that will start new home construction here within the next 2 to 3 months and would have activity in 2017. Fields of Meadow Ridge, Elm Creek Meadows, Preserve at Meadow Ridge, and the property just in Maple Grove, just off of 101, south of Fieldstone Boulevard. Presumably, those communities are all going to have the opportunity to go to Meadow Ridge when our community, which was in advance of all these communities, does not have that opportunity. And we'd like to have that discussion reopened. We'd like to understand the rationale and what goes into the boundaries, and see if we can't reopen those discussions. So I'd like to thank you for that. And on a personal note, as a member of Wayzata School District, as a property owner in Wayzata School District, and the father of a son who goes to Meadow Ridge Elementary, it is a little bit frustrating to hear that we built a brand new school and now it's overcapacitated. And I understand that those are very difficult waters to navigate, but it is a little bit frustrating. And I thank you for the time, and I'm sorry if I went a little bit long with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Auni. Are there any other members of the audience? Okay, so what we'll be doing now is we have, as all of you know, our National Merit Scholar semifinalist and esteemed teacher event, which is not beginning until 7 p.m. So we'll have plenty of time to go look at the supermoon or whatever else we can do in 45 minutes. But I will entertain a motion to adjourn this portion of the meeting, and then we will recall to order the meeting at 7 o'clock for our National Merit event. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we will remain adjourned for roughly 45 minutes until 7 p.m. Thank you.